Hello and welcome to a brand new Parry's Pickups. Thanks very much for joining us today. So the games keep on coming. Four more for you today in this latest episode. So without further ado, we'll probably start off with the star of the show. Debatably the star of the show, but nonetheless, this is Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. I think that's its proper title. Yes. And as you may or may not already have seen, I unboxed the special collector's edition from Pix and Love, which is the French-based company of this game. And while I'm here, I just for those who haven't seen it, came in this lovely box with an art book, and yeah, it was only available in France, but I got a copy imported. You know, it's a little bit more than the regular copy. This game is rather affordable. Put that back over there. So yeah, it's about £25 or less actually now. But what do you get for the money? Well, you get a heck of a lot. You get the original Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Championship Edition, new challenges, that's Super Street Fighter 2 and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Whew, oh gosh, whew. That's just for Street Fighter 2. You also get Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha 2, and Street Fighter Alpha 3. Wow. And I think when it says Alpha 2, it is the one that was released outside of Japan. Of course, initially Alpha 2 was released in Japan, but missing a few things. When it came out over here in Europe, and I think in the US as well, all those extras were already included in it. It was just called Street Fighter Alpha 2, although it had a slightly different name in Japan. It was like Street Fighter Alpha 2 Dash, I think, something like that. Street Fighter Alpha 3 and Street Fighter 3 New Generation, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact Giant Attack, which is a lovely long title there, and yeah, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Whew. Fight for the future. So a lot of Street Fighter for your money, and yes, it's worth it. If these games are just bare bones on a disc, it would be worth it. You get a little bit more. You get an art gallery in this game. It's got online as well, so you can take these, I think pretty much all these Street Fighter games online. I could be wrong there. Who would want to play the original Street Fighter online? I wonder. No, you can't. You can't play them all. You can play one of each. I think it's the last version of each of the games online. Sorry, just remembered then. So that would be Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Maybe there's maybe Alpha 2 goes on there as well. But yeah, you can play some of these online, but the fact you've even got online play as well is nice. Unfortunately, the online play, when I tried it, was laggy as hell. It reminded me of the King of Fighters 97 Global match, which was a recent release as well. Horribly laggy multiplayer. So hopefully, when I next try this, they've fixed that. Or I just had a bad connection. It does not have support for legacy arcade stick. So if you have a PS3 arcade stick, you can't use that on this game, yet you can on something like Tekken 7 or even Street Fighter 5. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. I'm finding the PS4 D-pad just doesn't cut it for Street Fighter. You know, I can manage with it okay, but I'd love to be able to play this with an arcade stick, but it might mean me investing in a PS4 specific arcade stick, which I'm not too keen on doing just for this game. So it's pretty cool. I mean, all the art gallery stuff is very nice. The way it's laid out is a little bit weird. For example, if you're playing two-player offline, the main menu has different options. It's one player, two player, and then you go into the subsections for each game. You choose a stage you want to play on, but after you've done your match in multiplayer and you want another match, it stays on that same stage. You've got to exit out back to the main multiplayer menu if you want to go back in and play another stage. An option maybe for a random stage select would be quite nice. If there is one on here and I've missed it, I apologise, but I could not see one when we had a go of this. The games themselves play great. I don't think you've got to worry about any sort of porting issues with this. It's handled by Digital Eclipse, which usually do a really fine job of these collections. So the games play as you would expect them to do. There's borders as well that you can select for those games, which, well, all of these were 4:3 ratios, so you can stick the borders you prefer on, or just have black. I think that's also an option on this game. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about it really. It's solid, and if you love Street Fighter, then the ability to have all these games with online play for your PS4 is really nice. This is also available on Nintendo Switch and Xbox One, so whatever console you've got, you can play Street Fighter. I don't know if it's on PC, it might be. I know the recent Sega Mega Drive Classics was also on PC, but yeah, is this? I don't know. But maybe if you look it up, you might find out. Ooh. So that's Street Fighter. So, I've been holding this cup of tea for ages. I'm actually going to have a bit of a drink of it now. Next game I'm going to cover is a game that's been covered by my good friend and fellow podcaster Matt Boyle for an episode of Boyographic. Go and check that out. It's very good. Matt loved this game. My experiences with it aren't as enthusiastic, but I'll go into that now. The game is... oh, where is it? Sabrina Teenage Witch. Sabrina, the animated series, sorry, Spooked. So this is developed by Way Forward, and Matt covered this in his May Forward series of videos. So over May, my friend Matt, on his channel Game Boyle, or Boyographic, he covered, I think, 4 games developed by Way Forward for the Game Boy. Game Boy and Game Boy Color. And this was one of them. And it's a platform game, essentially. The goal of each level is to collect 3 gems inside the level and get to the goal. As that involves finding the goal at the end of the level. Initially, when I first played this game, I think I managed to collect 2 gems, because I didn't quite understand how the game worked then until I saw Matt's video. So then I found myself getting stuck because I hadn't picked up the 3rd gem and I'd made my way to the exit. Now, I wanted to get back out of that area and, you know, see where I was going wrong, but I couldn't, for the life of me, jump high enough to get out of that area. So by not finding the 3rd gem, I sort of messed up the game. And okay, so no, that's not great design. Was I doing something wrong? I don't think so. I think I got stuck because I missed something. Second level, I collected all 3 gems, and I really loved the mechanic of being able to switch to Sabrina's cat Salem to get some of the other gems, which only he could get. And I thought that was a great gameplay mechanic. But I got all 3 gems. I could not for the life of me find the exit. There seemed to be an area which was just out of my reach. I tried to jump to it, but I couldn't do it. And again, it frustrated me to the point where nothing left for me to do, so I turned it off again. So whereas Matt seems to have had such a great time with this game, and I've had a slightly different experience, what's there is great, but if the game's sort of fighting against me to get to the goal, then I'm not sure how sold I am on this. It cost me £3 on Matt Boyle's recommendation, and you know, I'm happy with it for that money. If I'd paid a bit more, I think I would have been a bit frustrated with some of the problems I've had, but I hope that maybe next time I get to talk to Matt, he'll be able to guide me in the right direction, and I'll be able to actually get the most out of this game, because what's there is actually quite good. Other than Sabrina walks a little bit slowly for my liking. Matt's told me about there's a double jump, which I haven't found yet. Maybe that's my problem with the second level. Maybe there's a double jump I've got to find in order to power up to enable me to do that. So, if you want to know more about it, check out Matt's video. But just be aware that I've had a slightly different experience with the game. Okay, so where are we now? Ooh, we're going to talk about a Kinect game. So, for those who watch Parry's Pickups regularly, I've been talking about the Kinect for a while. This is Kinect Joy Ride. So I picked up a Kinect, it would have been a few months ago now, for about £15. And yeah, I wanted to try out some of these Kinect games, especially considering how cheap they are. This one was £2.50, I think, so not the cheapest, but I did see a sticker on the back saying it was originally 50p, so That's CX marking up a little bit on games, but it's still reasonable. And this actually works to my, well, not to my surprise, but to my delight, I should say, because I wondered if it would be a bit ropey. It's developed by Big Park, who handled the Kinect Sports Season 2 game along with in cooperation with Rare. Now, I'm not sure whether or not they work together or they use the assets that Rare create for Kinect Sports 1. But yeah, Kinect Sports Season 2 wasn't all it could have been and had a few annoyances, in my opinion. This seemed to do everything it sets out to do pretty well. Takes a while to get going in terms of navigating the menus, and I do think that's one of the frustrating things about Kinect games sometimes. It seems like gestures will be easier to get through menus, but that's where the difficulty in the game lies. Once you get into the game, it's fun and you understand why you're using motion controls, but why I'm using motion controls to navigate menus, no, it reminded me a little bit of too much of iToy Play. And again, the games are fun in that package, but negotiating menus and stuff, still a little bit frustrating. But yeah, let's talk about the actual game. So you drive a car. Wow. You can take part in races. You can play as 2-player, but you have to have a massive room. I haven't got that sort of space to play this in, so I was stuck with 1 player. And how you play the game is you hold your hands out in front of you like that, you turn them like this in order to steer. I felt like I needed a steering wheel in my hands really for that to be as effective as it should be, but I can easily get a Wii wheel and do that and see if it still works, but I don't know how the Kinect's tracking that, so that might confuse it. Works though, that's fine. You want to boost, you pull back like this and then push forward, and that allows you to boost. Yeah, there was some drifting going on. I'm not sure how I was doing that exactly. And stunts, so if you go up a jump, if you move yourself in a certain way, your character, your avatar, which is your avatar you've made on your Xbox if you've got one, will do a stunt and that will give you more boost. Yeah, it was fun. I really quite liked, other than I say feeling a bit odd not having anything to hold on to while I was doing this. It does what it sets out to do rather well, and is certainly worth £2.50 and a bit of your time if you're interested in Kinect games. Now, I was going to cover another Kinect game on this episode, although I'm feeling a little bit lazy and didn't feel like getting stuck into this particular Kinect game. Which was Kinect Sports, the original. I wasn't feeling particularly sporty, so rather than cover that in this episode, I'm going to cover a game I bought slightly more recently, actually, as of filming this yesterday, and it's just plugged in down here, in a wonderful thing which I've never featured, I don't think, on this series. This is my Scorpion 8 console. I use this for playing Famicom games. Now Famicom is obviously what the NES was called in Japan, the family computer. And this is a knockoff console basically that plays Famicom games. But it works really well. I've never had a problem with it. The controller is fantastic, and it's somewhere down here. Now this isn't the actual pickup of the console. I've had this for quite a long time. There's your controller. Really good. It's even got turbo buttons if you want them. That's really comfy. Modelled off a Famicom controller, as is the shape of the console. Because with a Famicom you can put your controllers in the side, and the same counts here. Connects here with the AV. Only the 2 colours here. Doesn't do the red, but so you don't get I think you just get mono audio instead of stereo audio, but that's fine. Regular 9V DC power adapter. It's a cool thing if you want a way to play Famicom games easily and cheaply. Then one of these sort of clone systems are really good, and I'd recommend the Scorpion 8 specifically. There's probably more of these, or maybe not. They do go through very weird namings, these systems, but we're here to talk about what's inside this really dirty game. that is inside the yeah, it's in focus, inside the Scorpion 8 there. This is called Binaryland. So I'm going to pull this out of here. Oh gosh, it's a tight fit and it's a nice rattly cartridge. So I wasn't sure if this would even work when I bought it. I bought this from an indoor market in Derby, and the guy was asking £5 for it, and considering the condition of the cartridge, and not just the outside of it, the contacts, the cartridge itself was filthy. I said, would you be able to do this any cheaper for me because of the condition? So he said, do it for you £4 and I'll clean it for you. So as I couldn't say fairer than that, I wanted to give it a go. So he cleaned up the contacts for me with some alcohol and some, I think that's what he used, and some, what do you call them? Q-tips if you're American, or we call them cotton buds in the UK. So he cleaned that up for me. It's probably that diluted solution there. And I got it home. It didn't work first of all, but after a couple of goes, it sprung into life and now seems to be working fine. This game is utterly charming, very simple, but endlessly playable. You play a penguin couple. You actually sort of play both characters. You move, it is very difficult to explain, but you hope to be able to see on screen. The idea is to get both penguins to the goal, and you control them both at the same time, but they're both trapped in different shaped mazes. So when you move one, the other moves in the same direction, but the other penguin is in a different maze, so you have to sort of get your penguin in a position where the other penguin is going to get stuck for a moment, where you can get up, maybe kill an enemy, because the levels are littered with enemies. At the beginning, just one spider. There's some spider webs too. If you get caught in them, it's up to your partner to get over to you and to use the bug spray weapon that each character has to get rid of the spider's web and free you. You also use that same spray to kill the spiders. So that I really liked. I thought it was very clever when I realised that, because at first I thought, well, if either of these characters hit one of them spider webs, then that's game over. But no, you can actually rescue them, which was a neat idea. Just the idea of them trying to get to a goal, but having the spiders as obstacles in this maze, I thought was really good. Anyone can play this game. It's very straightforward. Once you get to the top of the level, you have to hit the heart in the middle of the goal at exactly the same time. So what you do is you just send both penguins to the furthest. How do I say that actually? Into the corners basically of the level, and then spring them back at each other at the same time, and that'll enable them to meet exactly the same point, and you can progress to the next level. It's got a lovely, charming art style. These two penguins are a boy and a girl, and they just want to meet back up. They just want to be reunited and get out of this terrible spider maze. It was released in 1984, I think, originally on the Japanese MSX computer. It was later ported to the Famicom, which is this version, I think, in '85, but never made it out of Japan. It's been bootlegged a few times with various sprite swaps and things, but I've heard there's a Final Fantasy version with Chocobos as well, if you can probably track down online if you're interested. But the original Binaryland for the Famicom is a charming arcade-style puzzle game, I'd say. That is certainly worth your time, and for only £4 I was quite happy with that. The cartridge, as you've already seen, is decidedly dirty, but I think we can maybe clean that up a little bit, rub that down, clean it up, but at least it's working, which is nice. So wow, it's turned into a longer episode than I anticipated, but hope you've enjoyed it. There should be another Parry pickup next time, where we'll have 4 more games to talk about. Hopefully, I've kind of slowed down a little bit getting games recently, but we'll do our best to keep these coming on a weekly basis. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and there's plenty of other content on Blast Process for you to check out, plenty of unboxings, plenty of live streams that I do on the PS4, so yeah, do keep checking back for more content. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until we see you again, it's goodbye and game on.